Was that a good transition? From Invader Zim. Oh no, my mic is peaking. From Invader Zim to Animal Crossing. Such a mixture of music. So I haven't streamed in a long time. It's been a while. It feels like a while for me. I think it's been about 2 weeks. It's been since the quarter started. So yeah, 2 weeks. That's probably about right. Since then, I've had a couple changes. To the setup for the streaming setup. Specifically, I'm no longer streaming off my laptop. I actually recently, about 4 or 5 days ago, bought a desktop rig that I currently have at college, which is fantastic. Makes things a lot easier for gaming. However, I've not been able to utilize it a whole lot, just because of how busy I've been with work and school. So this is, I guess, the first rig. Oh, I forgot to check my settings. Oh, hopefully my settings are right. This is only going to be about an hour-long stream, so I think it should be okay. But I gotta go through and make sure all my settings are outputting to Twitch correctly. In fact, I could probably check right now and make sure the resolution's okay. I think I forget all the rules. Like, it downsizes it automatically to 1920 by 10. No, wait, to 1280 by 720. So I should downsize on my end and make sure Twitch doesn't do it. I forget. Anyway, I know my bandwidth is good enough. 1080p. Today, we're doing a little bit of coding, because I have to do it anyway, and it's the first time I've been streaming in a while. Hi. I'm using Visual Studio, programming C++. This is literally a school project, so I'll be working on that. The intention of this is to recreate... Oh wow, my lighting's all messed up too. It's to recreate Centipede, for the... I think originally on the Atari. I hate this lighting. This looks terrible. What? We're gonna switch it over to white light. There we go. Much better. Atari. Centipede. I've already implemented a little bit of it. Let me actually... Should I play a copy of it? I guess so. I got a browser capture, which I don't particularly want to do, but we'll do it anyway. We'll do a new window so you can't see the other stuff I'm working on. The music. You can't see the music tab. Give me a sec here. I gotta allow Adobe Flash. This also might sound terrible. I don't believe there's a mute button. So, I can mute the tab though, right? Yeah, I can. Let me capture this real quick. Window capture. The browser. Whoa, there's a window. Oh, but it doesn't like it because we don't have the right version of OBS, so we're not properly browser capturing. See, all the fun things when you switch computers, you gotta think about all the stuff that was on the old one that's not on the new one. I finally adjusted my mic. That was actually a little bit off as well. I usually peak up my equalizer a little bit, I think, a little bit up on the lower end of the spectrum, and I keep the higher end of the spectrum lower, so I literally switch what my voice sounds like. But now it sounds exactly like my old setup, because we're using the same mic, and I have the same setting transferred over. Anyway, I'm just gonna be working on this. It's a little small exercise, I guess, for me to be able to explain what I'm coding, even if it's just to myself mostly. I'm not going to go through the entire code base that we've worked on so far. We are using SFML, which is a common library that people are going to be using for C++ graphics. I didn't work on any of the SFML specifically. I transferred that over, or I got transferred over from a project that the professor was originally working on and transferred over to this. It's using an engine called Teal, T-E-A-L, which is, according to the professor, a very terrible implementation of an engine that has a lot of really bad quirks. But we're going to be using that because it hides a lot of the graphical details, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll just work on our classes and stuff like that. Specifically with the classes, we got a couple classes that I've been working on. Specifically a blaster class for the player, some mushrooms on the field. This would be a lot better if I could actually show you what the game looked like. Can I? Actually, you know what? I do have a version, not of exactly this, but of another Centipede game, in case you've ever played it in the past. I think it's for the ColecoVision. It is for the ColecoVision. Let me get that out, actually, because I just remembered I had it. Also, that's probably really loud. Let me turn that down a bit. Sorry. Hard to get the audio balancing right again. I'm getting this from my desktop. I recently corrupted it because I was getting tired of... Is that on this machine? That was not on this machine. No, yet again, we can't play it. Alright, go check out Centipede. Go look it up on YouTube for the Atari. You can find a version of it. I was corrupting it on the other laptop, and it was before I got this new PC. By the way, this new PC is fantastic. It's got a... well, it's fantastic for me. I got it on eBay, so I got it for a pretty good deal. I wasn't bothering building my own one because at the time I didn't really feel like building one, and I don't really have the time for it. But it's got, you know, a 1080 in it, it's got an i7, it's run-of-the-mill what you need. The only thing that was kind of odd was the motherboard, which is tough gaming. I've never heard of that before. I usually use like an Asus motherboard or something like that. I hope that lasts. TUF gaming. Anyways, the game itself looks like this, which will pop hopefully up here in a sec. There we go. Or at least what I have so far is you got a little blaster lad that can move around on the screen. He can shoot. Currently I'm reporting actually information to the console, which I'm actually going to remove. We're incrementing these various game elements in certain sprints where the game or the class can decide on what we want to implement, and the end goal, of course, around like the week 10, we have 10 weeks and a quarter, is to implement the full game. Currently, the last sprint, the first sprint we actually worked on was just this. So player movement, player shoot, and player shoot mushrooms. And these mushrooms have a certain amount of lives to them. Currently we have 4 hits, and it's just a sprite cycle going through that. Each one of these specific mushrooms is located within a 2D array of pointers. It's a pointer to a pointer to a pointer array of mushroom type. And that's how we store all these mushrooms within columns and rows. Makes it easier for later management. And close this successfully. We're specifically testing for memory leaks, in which case we have none. Memory leaks are very bad, so we try to avoid them whenever possible, and luckily I've been very diligent in cleaning out my memory leaks so far, and hopefully I continue that throughout the entire quarter. We'll see. We will. Oh, here's a mushroom reference. I don't think I actually need this, so... Hey, what's going on, Noella? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. My first stream in a long time. A very long time. Or at least to me it felt like it's been a long time. So a couple things that I wanted to fix up on from the last sprint and that were sort of commented on and I wanted to adjust were, what were they? I've been using global, well, I've been creating public variables so I don't have to deal with accessors because I was worried about the function overhead, which now I shouldn't worry about so much because it's terrible to create local public variables. I'm okay, I'm glad to hear you're okay. Better than being bad, I believe. Yes. Is this good music? I'm gonna do Animal Crossing, but like a winter theme. Yeah. Animal Crossing winter music. Perfect. Exactly what we need. Christmassy. Does that sound okay for the stream? No, it's too quiet now. Perfect. Wow. Okay. So, I need to work on accessors and getters and all that kind of stuff. Currently, I know some problematic places. I make issues. I have these issues. One of which is in my bullet class. Because anytime the blaster shoots a bullet, I have a reference back to the ship, and that reference, I believe, is a public variable. Let me check that. Blaster.h. I made the position of the blaster a public variable, which I shouldn't do, and I even made a note here that I need to make ammo, which is something that the bullet increments, a private variable as well, so we can actually set that. I've also got to work on some convention for my naming convention for these guys. I'm using constants, which I'm usually trying to capitalize all the time, but occasionally I mess up on that. So, for example, we have 3 floats, 2 of which are capitalized properly and 1 that's totally off. Made public to avoid accessor head? No longer. We're gonna go make a accessor function for blaster.cpp. And we're going to call that function get ammo. This one we actually want to adjust the ammo, so don't need to return anything. We'll call it increment ammo, add ammo works. It's going to supply anything? It doesn't need to supply anything. I think that's good. Just call add ammo, it increments the ammo counter by 1. We could specify a specific number if we wanted to add back multiple bits of ammo, but in this case I don't think any game designer would do that necessarily. Looking down the line, I don't think that'd be a function we would add. So within Blaster CPP, let's implement this. I'm bad at keeping my old memory references. Is that also readable? That's probably really tiny. I'm legit gonna play the Neko March for 10 hours. Neko March? I've never heard of that before. What I was worried about before was this... God, I can't even grab the window. This window being, like, overlapping too much, and me actually overlapping this. I think that's fine, and then when we actually run the game... This is the first time I've actually coded on stream. Oh, that's right, we have a bunch of errors. I forgot about that. It's not actually gonna run because we forgot about the accessors. I'm hoping... Which windows can be on top? Teal, VS. Okay, teal should be on top, so I think we're good to go. What is Neko March? I've never heard of that before. It's called a cat parade. Oh, Neko March. Wait, I've heard of that before. Wait, alright, we'll look it up. Neko March. Have you been playing it or you're going to play it? I'm gonna play it for 10 hours. I'm gonna hold you to that. You better play for 10 hours or else you're a liar. Oh, Neko March! I've heard this before. Alright, quick pause on the Animal Crossing. Yeah, I know the song. Ba-ba. Ba-ba. I forget the words. Oh, I was actually on. Oh, this is the part I remembered. Alright, if you want to go listen to that for 10 hours as well, you can listen to it on this stream because we're doing a 10-hour stream right now. I'm only gonna be on until about 11:30. Of fucking course, who wouldn't? Exactly. It's just, it's too happy. It's happiness in essence. Alright, I'm sorry. I gotta end it. If I don't end it now, then I will never be able to end it. Okay. Yes, we got errors. Okay. We'll work on that in a sec. Let's define add ammo class within the blaster space. What does this do? It increments the ammo counter by 1. Easy enough. I worry about doing accessor and modifier methods, but it's literally that. It's already 11:37. God, if it was 11:37 here, I would be sleeping already. Thank God it's not for me. I got back home from class too late. Sadly. I wish I got back earlier. Plus I have to do math homework, which I have to spend so much time doing math homework. I'm so far behind on that, and I'm so far behind on coding as well. So, it's great. Okay, we should also set POS as a private variable as well. We'll do that at a future time. Bullet, what is the size of bullet? It's an entire class. I usually try to be cache friendly and store my data as such, and don't mix match my data. Floats and integers, since we're in times 86, should be both 4 bytes long, so I think it's okay to store them like this. In terms of which one is accessed more often, I'm not sure. Because I played Minecraft Forever today. Wait, I think I'll have to play that tomorrow, because I played Minecraft Forever today. Ah, I see. I haven't touched Minecraft in a really long time. Okay, let's see these errors. So, blaster can't call this ammo function. Instead, we need to call the... What do we call it? Add ammo? Add ammo function. And that is not allowed because blaster has no member. Add ammo... because it's not a member. Is that the right one? What do we do differently? Okay. See declaration, this one too. So when we collide with the mushroom and it's fired, so it's a hot bullet, we should also call this. This dot color ship dot add ammo. I'm making a city. That's right, I forgot you're making a city. That sounds extremely exciting. Well, how's your progress on it so far? Are you making good progress? I've seen a couple city like implementations in the past, and it always, in my opinion, looks fantastic and very, very neat. Oh, that's the wrong window. We're gonna grab this window. Is it raining? Oh, no. I think it's like popcorn or something. Never mind. I'm gonna put this window here so it's actually seeable. You can see it. Medieval desert city. That sounds very neat. Medieval. You like how I pronounce medieval? Also, I gotta remove all of these. I don't know what a medieval desert city would look like. I have no clue. I know what a medieval city would look like. Like, a major city in a medieval time would be, you know, what comes to mind for me is like Old England or something like that. But a desert city, that sounds extremely interesting. I did finish the stronghold. Oh, cool. Oh, that's right. I remember you sent me pictures of that stronghold, and it looked very, very cool. I liked the lighting in there. It was fantastic. This works. Did we actually change anything? Well, the ammo didn't mess anything up. Okay, so accessor works, or incrementer in this case, or modifier. Mutator. Mutator works. We're gonna remove all of the console messages, because we don't really need those. So, bullet destroyed doesn't matter anymore. We know it's getting destroyed. Console message. Collision tools. This isn't something we use. That's part of the framework. Console message. Oh, I'm searching the entire solution. Well, I guess that's fine. Resource manager, great. Don't need any of that. Resource manager. Collision manager. Collision tools. I'm looking for the ones that are in my files specifically, which I guess we're going through all of them first. Alright, never mind. We're not gonna do that. Hey, what's up, Neba? I hate the new Twitch format. Need my night mode. Oh, they don't have night mode? I actually haven't even looked at it yet. I remember Wasabi had mentioned it. Oh god, it looks terrible! What is this, Twitch? What is this? Well, I guess I might have some better Twitch TV stuff here. I don't like it. It looks very... Ugh. It reminds me of when Twitter made their new, like, change, their new upgrade, if you can call it that. I wouldn't call it that. It's like Aladdin. Oh, it's like Aladdin. Oh, I understand. Okay, got it. Same Royal. Yeah, it's a bad update. I hope they revert some of it. Couldn't install a night mode extension. That's true. Looks like basic. It's like, yeah, it's like basic, and they tried to go with like really big, like poppy buttons, so you want to click on them. I guess. I think that's what the vibe they're going for is. And like Android did that for a little bit, where like everything went minimal, which was great. Minimal's great, but then they went really like big and poppy, and it just got annoying. I don't know. I like old Twitch. There's some beauty to having like a simple UI. Like Discord has a very simple UI, and it's fantastic. And they don't change it a whole lot because they got, I don't want to say lightning in a bottle, but they got like, you know, something good going on with it. I'm gonna search, not my entire solution, but all open documents for console message. I also could just search the message that's getting printed out. That'd be much easier. Entire solution, bullet destroyed. That is one we already got rid of. Whoops. And what's the other thing? Mushroom destroyed. I don't believe that that's not found. Do we actually print out any messages? Let's see. God, I can't get this audio right. Hopefully that's not too loud. Let me know if it is. Oh. Mushroom hit. Ah, okay. I said mushroom destroyed. Mushroom hit. There it is. Ready, you? Okay. Other public variables, there is some in the mushroom class, which we need to get rid of. Oh, there's actually just the parent matrix. I don't think we really need to change that right now. Because, well, who uses the parent matrix? I think the only one that actually sets this is when we create the entire grid for the first time. We're going to set a bunch of mushrooms in a bunch of locations within memory. Yes, and we destroy them as well, but that's fine, that doesn't need to be public. Yeah, it's only when we create them, so let's just create a method that sets this so we don't actually directly access the mushroom itself. Yeah, fixed it. Hey, nice. Night Eye for the rescue. Night Eye. I remember that one. I know there's one, like, Chrome app that is always recommended. It turns night mode for every site, which is fantastic. I love it. So, mushroom.h. We're gonna make parent matrix a private variable. This is just a pointer, so it only is... God, what's a pointer in 32-bit mode? 4 bytes? 4 bytes. So it can go with the floats at the end, so great. Okay, we need an accessor method, or a setter method in this case. So this is going to be... God, I hate these names. I want to switch set POS and set matrix POS. Set matrix POS, isn't that essentially what we're doing? See, this is why we need better naming conventions. So, mushroom.cpp, set matrix POS. That is what we do. So why was it a public variable in the first place? Does this actually run? I'm questioning my own code. No, cannot be accessed. Ooh, who cannot access it? You cannot access it. We're setting a POS, so this could just be a set method. Mushroom, column tile, instead. Oh, this is a reference cell. Okay, never mind, this is a pointer. So once this game is finished, you're planning on selling it. Selling it? No, I'm not planning on selling it. This is an old game. This is Centipede for Atari from like 1980. That's not the right number. That's not the right year. No, this is a school project. Okay, I need to figure out what I did here. Whenever I touch my 2D array, which I hate looking at because where is it defined? Mushroomfield.h, because it's this abomination. It's this abomination. A pointer to a pointer to a pointer of type mushroom. I think that's right. There's a great website, Decal, I think, C-Decal, which deobfuscates difficult C++ or C language, which is great. Rename it and call it Millipede. Is that actually a reference to Millipede? Because they actually did that. Well, it's still Atari's game, though. But they actually got Millipede, which I don't like Millipede compared to Centipede. Centipede can be actually kind of fun depending on what version you play. But Millipede is no fun. I think it's just too many things happening at once. Which Centipede had a lot of stuff going on at once, but I feel like it threw everything at you in a fairly like manageable way. Maybe your first couple times you play it can be a little confusing, but once you get the hang of that, it's not half bad. Okay, so we got parent matrix. We need to set this. We need a setting method that sets the parent matrix of this. Okay, we can do that. So instead of just the POS, which I feel like we could set this in one method, we can set this in one method because we're supplying the column and the row. We could also, just while we're at it, supply a reference to this parent matrix. So let's do of mushroom. Do we want to do that though? We could separate these two methods. Yeah. Could do as an optional parameter. But that doesn't seem like the right idea. We could override it, or overload the option. Let's overload it. I guess that's, what is that? OOP suggested. Let's do that. So same name. It looks like a sequel. It is a sequel. That is the proper word for it. And this one, you can deduce. Overloading by argument list, right? Mushroom, star, 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 mushy tile. I think that's how you distinguish. Overloading. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's implement that. So it's the same name as the previous one, which was set POS for the matrix, but specifically for this method, we are setting the column POS. Why do we need to do this, though? No, we don't need to do this. We don't need to overload. That's just unreasonable and confusing. Let's instead be smart about this and just call it a new method. So void set parents matrix, which is going to be of mushroom type, mushroom pointer type, parent matrix. That is a much better implementation, or much better naming convention, so I'm not going to be confused 3 months down the line when I'm trying to understand why in the world I implemented it like this. Set parent matrix of mushroom type, pointer, 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 parent matrix, and this literally just takes the parent matrix. It's a bad naming convention. Input parent matrix. Should change the parameter here. I don't necessarily, or not, within the header file, we don't actually need to supply names for all these. I just sort of do it to keep track of, you know, what this actually does. It's at a glance. I refer to my header file a lot for what I'm implementing and what functions I'm working on, and being able to at least see a little bit of an extra description on what parameters I'm supplying can help me out, especially when I'm overloading a lot. So I supply them here. Bro, I'm gonna watch a sad movie. What's it called? Yeah, what is it called? What sad movie are you gonna watch? Parent matrix is equal to input parent matrix. Good. Alright, so now within the mushroom field, when we actually supply a mushroom field as a reference, we're going to set matrix POS, set parent matrix, equal to mushy tile. Good, and that should just run. Almost. Equal as left operand. Is that here specifically? It is. because this is a function that we supply a value to. Good. And run. Good. This corner of the world. I haven't heard of that. This corner of the world. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna be working 2 jobs soon. Why 2 jobs? 2 part-time? Well, I guess it would have to be part-time, wouldn't it? You couldn't work 2 full-time jobs, or it'd be extremely difficult to be. This looks really nice. Who is this made by? Or what company is this by? Got a director. I don't know what like studio this is associated with. Looks really nice. I like the art style. Very pretty. Hopefully it's not extremely depressing. It looks extremely depressing just based on the artwork and like the... Can I call it gloomy art style? Maybe that's not the right word for it. Nah, gloomy is like dark and depressing. It's not vibrant though. It's kind of like washed out. In like a sad way, if that makes sense at all. I don't think it does. If I pass the interview, I'll be working 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., then 3:30 p.m. till 12 a.m. Possible overtime for the second job. That sounds like you're going to be working yourself to death. So I wish you luck on that. I am currently working a full-time job, and even that makes me tired. But I am doing school on top of it. So it's like I have 2 jobs. I'm going to count it as 2 jobs, even if no one else does. Keeps me busy. Oh, I forgot to... This runs okay, no problems. Can destroy the mushrooms. We're not getting any reference problems. The thread is exited with code 0. What thread is that? This all functions. Bullets are getting destroyed. Mushrooms are getting destroyed. When we end, we don't have any memory leaks. Memory tracking passed. Okay, good to go. I think that was all my... No, that can't be all my accidental public variables. 3 methods. Setting here. This is good. I'm gonna distinguish my set methods from my like collision handling and stuff like that. Thanks, I may work myself to death, but then I can save up and pay debts off and retire sooner. That is fair. I can understand that. I need to put more money into my retirement. I think everyone does. Everyone should absolutely put money into their retirement before it is too late. Next up, we're going to switch off the blaster POS to be a private method, which I think this is something I did worry about because every single update loop we are accessing the POS for the blaster because I'm using that specifically for collision. Right now, when I'm colliding into a mushroom, I like the blaster or the player to stop. The position of the bullet is separated from the position of the player, so right now if I... how would I say it? If I don't manipulate the POS of the bullets, then the bullet is free to move around whenever we collide with the mushroom, so we want those two to be locked together. So we just have to make sure we use accessors for this. That'll be fine. Okay. So this is a vector, bullets... Okay. So specifically, who is using the blaster POS? I know the bullet is. And... well, we'll deal with that in a sec. Yeah, my plan is making enough money to put into my savings account to live off the interest. Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good plan overall. Can't blame you for starting early either. Okay, nothing has changed within the blaster method. That's good to go. This is all gonna be with the bullet method. Initial doesn't matter, but specifically within the code file, we're gonna have... I think this is the only time we ever access the calling ship POS. So now the POS needs to be an accessor method. So let's provide that. We're just gonna lump it together with this. It's not gonna be a void, now it's going to be of type vector 2f, which is part of SFML. Return type. Is that a safe return type? And then say get POS. That is, okay, cool. I don't like that return type. I wish I could be using vector 2f. I wish I could cheat and say I'm using that specifically within, like, say, the namespace. But yeah, it's better not to do that. Did you have to make the sprites, or was it given to me? It was given to me. Sprites are given to me. This is all about straight coding and straight, like, implementing the systems that work for the game, like all the shooting and all the artificial intelligence that's going on, and all the memory management, all the sprites, sounds, and background libraries for graphics and stuff like that are all supplied. Okay, so blaster.cpp, we're going to implement a get method, which is part of the blaster class. Oh, where does this go? This goes after the type of the return. And this is going to just give the POS, so return POS. Okay. And now within the bullets, we need to call the get method, get POS. Is that right? Get POS, call that method. Doesn't like the naming though. Did I name that right? Oh, all caps. Get POS. Okay, no magic numbers. I'm trying to avoid magic numbers now too. That was something I got docked points off for because I did use, how would I say it? We want to sort of program defensively, so specifically if there is something that we're planning on changing possibly later on, or say we're on a team and there's designers who choose to implement more bullets or implement more ships or implement, you know, XYZ, we need to be able to program defensively, so if they change something on the fly, we need to be able to adjust that in our code on the fly. And using magic numbers or hard-coding a lot of our values is a bad idea. Specifically, we want to, you know, implement constant variables like these. It can get kind of ugly in my opinion, and usually I like hard-coding, but it's a very bad practice to get in. So instead, I need to get more in practice of doing this. Previously, before this class I just took, I was taking a class in optimization, and all in the optimization we were trying to avoid using constant variables. Or in very specific applications we try to avoid constant variables. I don't think it really matters in the end because it's going to be replaced when you compile it. I think that all the constants are taken out and the values are replaced anyway. It just speeds up compile time. But I think, if I remember correctly. So set method is hopefully working. Let's make sure that actually goes through okay. And specifically, we are calling back to the ship to increase the ammo counts, which, when the bullet is destroyed, that method is called, or specifically, where was that anyway? Bullets, it was here. So, specifically, when the bullet goes off screen, actually, in this implementation, for this method, which we actually just hit. Continue. What are we calling this? We're calling this update loop. If it is not fired, then the position... Oh, we set the position. Okay, great. Yeah, this works. When it's not fired, essentially what we're doing is we're setting a location for the bullet to be, and we're offsetting a little bit from the ship, so it's not like right under the ship or right above the ship. That's what this method does here. This is where I don't like that we're making a function call every single iteration loop 60 times a second? 60 frames a second? Yeah, 60 times a second. Calling a function, getting a value back. That's why specifically I wanted to use that as a public variable, so we don't actually have to have the function overhead. But it's looked down upon, so we're doing this instead. We're also subtracting vectors, which I don't like either. We could use a proxy to avoid subtracting vectors directly, so avoid, you know, vector minus vector operations, and instead just use integer operations and return a vector type. That might be an optimization later. Let me make that as a note. I'm trying to keep track of a to-do list of just stuff that I haven't implemented, stuff that I want to implement, problems I've run into. I have a bug bounty so far for my own personal use. So I'm going to call this just game optimization suggestion. And for the tasks that I'm going to try to implement is for vector calls, use a proxy for basic operations, such as subtraction, addition, etc. Okay, that's all on my to-do. Something else that's on my to-do that I should probably work on... We got half an hour. I should probably work on now. Let me make sure I'm not missing any glaring glaringly obvious problems. I'm gonna just check like the notes I got from my last what would you call it? Review. Also take out that breakpoint. So I do not have, and this is what I want to work on now, is my ship controls. So how I'm controlling my ship is specifically within the ship object itself, which can be problematic. A feature of Centipede for the Atari is there's a couple modes. This was originally on an arcade machine, so essentially if you walk by an arcade machine and you look at the arcade machine, the game's usually playing itself. That's, at least for Centipede, referred to as the attractor mode for this. It might be referred to as other things in other games, but that's what we're calling it for this one. For that implementation, we need the player to be able to move around on the screen without user input. So specifically, the player moves itself essentially, and control gets passed to, say, a function or something that controls the ship. A very pseudo form of artificial intelligence, or just artificial movement, I suppose. I need to be able to pass something over or control it using that other method. So we both take input control from the player, or we take artificial control from this secondary source. So in order to do that, I want to take the controls out of the ship and give it to, say, a game controller, create a game controller method, and do that. I would need to, I think, draw that out maybe in UML or something like that first, because I want to be able to have an overarching method, say just general controls, and then have subsets or inheritance for the specific control types. So we're probably working on that a little bit later. Maybe this is just cleaning up stuff for now. When it comes to actually working on those like bigger ideas, I usually have like videos open and stuff like that that I work on, so hold off on that. Something else. Bullet's collision. You change a value in ship directly from bullet without going through an accessor. This is great sin, shame, my professor says. Great sin, shame. Shame on you. This is within bullet collision, which I believe we've already addressed. Within the collision method. Yes, okay, we have added the add ammo function, fantastic. Anything else? We have some magic numbers here and there, which I do need to address. Let's actually go through and just find any magic numbers and just take those out and switch over to just constants. And I don't think you nulled out array entries that are empty. I don't actually think I corrected them on this, but I think I did. So we are specifically, let me double check that, nulling out entries that are empty. I believe we do that. That's going to be within our mushroom field destruction operation. So, well, actually, it's going to be in two places. So this is when the actual array gets destroyed. So at the end of the game, we need to destroy all the memory that we dynamically allocated. Also, I'm going to add another optimization in here. Another optimization is going to be implementing a custom memory system. This will be for like last week kind of stuff, but for the last class I was working on, we implemented a custom memory system that was about 2 times faster than the OS, so I'd like to implement that if I could. It's just much faster on the delete operation than over the new operation. I think the new is just a little bit faster, but anyway. Oh. So let's go to the mushroom class. When that gets destroyed, I want to make sure that actually nulls itself out of the array itself. So that'd be in mushroom.cpp when it is destroyed. Now this is a game object within SFML, or Teal I should say. Game objects, you don't actually necessarily need to create a destructor for them. That can be automatic. Specifically when you remove them or deregister anything that you allocated, like in this instance we are allocating memory for a collider, by calling the deregister collision method. I guess I can call it a method. This removes the allocated memory, so we don't have to worry about specifically deleting that. SFML can take care of that, kick it back to them. Nulling out specifically this mushroom from the matrix we are doing here at the column and row position in which we supplied to the mushroom. This is one of the reasons why I actually wanted to give each mushroom a position, and that's why we were working on that a little bit earlier, is we want to tell the mushroom, hey, you live at this row, indice, and column. And then later on, when we destroy the mushroom with, say, our blaster, or say a spider destroys it or something like that, we want, when that mushroom's blowing up, to say, hey, I live here. Tell the column that. Or tell the matrix that it has a reference back to. And then it will nullify itself, and that'll be that. It's already deregistered its collision, so that memory has been deallocated, and we can tell because we don't have a memory leak. So that note, we're actually good to go. I think there's nothing else we really need to say there. I'm used to just, out of convention, having destruction methods at the end of my files. I'm just moving that down. Of course I have it. So now we're going to remove magic numbers. Also, you might be wondering, in case you're glancing at the code over here, we have a couple other methods. Asteroid, or filters. Asteroid, ship, splash, widget. Ignoring all those were from sort of like a test demo that we were utilizing in order to just get a background of SFML. Just to get an idea of, like, hey, how do you load resources into, well, Teal, for example, in this. Also, don't look at that very ugly file path directory switchover. This is utilized because there's a reference folder that we need to reference into, but then our subdirectories for these files are like within student, our name, if we're using a working directory, yada yada yada. So we have to reference all the way back to the to this right folder, which I think you could probably set up as a project setting. I just don't know how. And it's easier for me to imagine where it's located. So, magic number time. Let's start off with the mushroom. I guess that works for us. No public variables, which is good. Mushroom.cpp. Directly at the beginning, we set a couple of our public or private variables. We should probably set, I guess, these two here. So, animated sprite. Oh god, that's loud. Ah, it's so loud! Okay, now it's quiet. Within this method, also let me make a quick update. We use a version control called Perforce for the university, which is nice. It's like GitHub or name your favorite version control. What have we done so far? We've added in mutators and accessors. We've also... Is that what we've done so far? I think it is. Alright, submit that. And check out again. So specifically for this, we have an animated sprite which sort of loops through these... I guess you can't really tell what I'm talking about unless you look at the sprite sheet. We have a sprite sheet with 4 different mushroom lives, in which case it's a perfectly intact mushroom, one that's slightly damaged, one that's very damaged, one that's pretty much gone, and one that's... I think that's it. So, perfectly good mushroom. 1 damage, 2 damage accidentally, 3 damage, 4 damage. So it has all these states: 1 image, 2 image, 3 image, 4 image. Each one of those is just a location within this array that has been cut up. We should probably name this stuff though. So we're gonna say, I don't know, integer total shrooms. That's a bad name. Integer total shroom sprites. And integer... that's not the best name, because we want, I guess, rows? Do you want to separate those two? Here's the annoying thing where I don't like having just multiple different constants, is I could use total shroom sprites and then just use like some divisor, like, hey, there's 8 total sprites, but specifically we're just working with the top column, or the top row in this instance, so we could take, you know, total shroom sprites and divide it by 2, because there's going to be 8 total sprites, and we're only using 4 of those 8 sprites. But technically, that divide by 2 is still a magic number, so we should also have a variable for that as well, which I don't like. I don't like having multiple variables like that. So we have to name this differently in that case. So we're going to call this sprite rows and sprite calls. Sprite rows, in which case, oh, this is calls. Sprite calls. Sprite calls is equal to 4. Sprite rows is equal to 2. My OCD within me wants me to line these all up so the longest is on top and the shortest is on the bottom, but I'm going to try to maintain the same ordering that's in here. Okay, and this is sprite rows. Good. Now this one, I'm going to hold off on this. This is sort of like a ratio that we're going to be working on. You can ignore that for now. These are two of the exact same methods, one that supplies a vector as a starting position and one that is just a basic default implementation. I think I could even remove the basic default implementation and this will still function. Let's check that though. It will. We need a default... Yeah, okay. So in this case, actually, we are going to... And nothing breaks. We're going to just set this as the default initializer. What this is called? The big four. We have... God, what are the big four? Big five programming. I think it's referred to as the big five, the big six, the rule of three. That sounds right. The deconstructor, copy constructor, copy assignment, move assignment. We usually set God, here, let's just remove it, it'll tell me what it is. Mushroom, remove this. It's a default constructor, that's the word I can't think of for some reason. Oh, but that even works though. I thought we needed a default constructor. Previously I did. I think it was because my implementation of the array is... Oh, speaking of the array, okay, before I forget. I was using a default constructor in order to construct each object within each row and column as I initialized the entire list, but then later on I decided to just supply position locations to each mushroom as I created them, so hence this implementation here. And I guess... Oh wait, here we go. This is where I don't need it. No, even then, I'm very surprised at myself. Or surprised at this. Something I don't want to forget is when I create each of these entries, this is going to be a reminder, we need to nullify each entry. Now, default within debug, when you create, say, this very large... Oh, this isn't here. I'm sorry. This is when we're implementing everything. That's going to be here. As initially I thought, by, referencing this right here, we would initialize everything to 0 upon creation, or upon allocation. But I don't believe that's the case. Let's actually check in memory. That'd be a good check. Good sanity check. But this is where my issue was. So I think it's within debug by default when you create or allocate memory. That location within memory is zeroed out or nullified. Within release mode, I don't think that's the case. I think you just get whatever garbage data is there and they assume you are nullifying it yourself and you overwrite whatever's there. I don't know whether this specific thing that I added on the end here will nullify it. I don't know if I need to do this or if I need to actually loop through each individual elements and set them each to be null. I thought this implementation was good to go, but I can't confirm that until I actually release build and release mode, which I actually don't even think that's set up for some reason because the professor removed it. No, we do have release. Okay, fantastic. But then we can't debug within release, so we can't tell if this is actually nullified or not. We could print what's there, and then try to, figure out what... Oh, God, never mind. Cannot include yada yada file, that's fine. Because we don't have that project setting for release, that's fine. Let's just see, just for this one specific instance, hey, within this location in memory, which is mushy tile, which of course is nothing right now, but then when we implement it, or when we create it, that is all nullified. Then we go through here and set each value. Now, these are creating pointer references, so this is just creating a bunch of references to pointers. Or not, I keep using the word references, which is the bad word, because reference is actually a thing, and pointers are a different thing. They're very similar, of course, they coact interact with one another. Anyways, we're filling this array that we just created with a bunch of pointers to other arrays, essentially. And that does it over and over again, which is great. And then later on, we populate each of those arrays with mushrooms. So, I'm going to leave this be for the time being. And maybe it will be just a note to come back to. Nullify ancient entry? Question mark? I'm going to put it on my list, my to-do list. Game tasks. I'm going to see, does nullifying memory upon array creation, is memory nullified upon array creation? Is what I'm wondering. Okay. So back to what we were working on before this side note, was something within Mushroom. I think we were working on the sprites. We were just removing the default constructor. So right now there is no default constructor, and that is fine, as long as we don't create any mushrooms without providing a POS, which I don't think we will. The only time we ever create a mushroom is when we first create the entire grid. We're going to populate that with mushrooms, which we have currently as a populate method. And whenever there's a flea on screen, and also whenever a centipede dies. A piece of a centipede dies. Neither of those latter, they're not going to be random spawning. We're always going to supply a POS when we create a mushroom. If we didn't, it wouldn't be drawn on screen, so I think this is fine. We don't need a default initialization for mushroom. In fact, we can delete it, but I don't think we even need to do that. I don't think so. Because by creating the special constructor, that's not the right name of it, by creating the something constructor, modified constructor, specialized constructor? I think that's the name of it. It's been a while since I remember my terms. Specialized constructor? Construction? That's the name of his business. We're gonna call it specialized for the time being. That might not be the right term, correct me. By creating the specialized constructor, I think, is it the same as deleting? Anyways, we're gonna use delete because it, I guess, helps out the compiler in a way. It tells it we don't want a default initially, or a default way of calling the constructor, but I think by having a specialized constructor, it does that by default, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, cool. Something else I probably need to work on, which for the most part I've been pretty good at, is setting up the big four for each of my methods. Do we need a default? We already have this, okay. The big four, of course, being the default constructor, the copy constructor, the assignment operator, and the need constructor. Whoa, Bobo and Duck! Is this gonna blast? Are we gonna hear noise? We're not gonna hear noise because I have a new computer and I forgot to set up Streamlabs. What's going on, everyone, from Popo's stream? Here, let me play. Do I have magic noises? I don't think I have magic noises. Sadly. What's going on, everyone? Welcome, welcome. What's going on, Mr. Popo? What were y'all playing today? I can't even give you a shout out because my bot doesn't work. This is the first time I've streamed in probably, God, how long has it been? 2 weeks? It's felt like months. Been too busy with school lately. Been so busy with school. Bought a new PC though, finally bought a desktop. I'm not streaming off the old terrible laptop anymore. It's a good laptop, it's not terrible. But I'm not streaming off that anymore, which is nice. But I haven't been able to stream or play anything off the new desktops. This is my first stream since then, and I'm working on schoolwork, if you can believe it. Ugh, schoolwork. Welcome back to Twitch, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. It's good to be back, it's always good to be back. We're working on a little version of, oh, you would know what Centipede is. Centipede for the Atari. Sort of our project to work on now. Within 10 weeks, I gotta make the entirety of Centipede with all the characters and the AI and the scoring and the modes and all that fun stuff. Currently, I got a little blaster boy, and I got mushrooms that take damage. That's what we got so far. And hey, I'm proud of it. We're only 2 weeks in. I'm only counting it as 1 week because technically we didn't do anything the first week, so I'm gonna say that's what we've been working on so far. Oh man, nice work. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll keep making good progress. But welcome, sir. What were you playing today? Doing a little bit of retro? I know I saw you streaming, but I don't know where you're playing. Why the Centipede choice? Oh, it's actually, so it's not my choice. I wish it was my choice. If it was my choice, I think I would create Lunar Lander. If I was playing like something from that era, I would probably do Lunar Lander. I don't think I'd do Asteroids because that's a lot of physics, and while I like physics, I don't think I like programming physics a whole lot. Even though I know Lunar Lander is all about physics, but I feel like that'd be funner for some reason. Propulsion's always fun. It's not rocket science, or it actually is in this case. But no, Centipede was something that we were actually just all given as sort of a project to work on. This is a school project. Specifically, I don't know why. I don't know why they specifically chose Centipede. Maybe it was just one of the games that the professor liked, and then he has probably played it 800 times from all the different classes he's taught, and he's probably sick of it at this point. But, Centipede nonetheless. We were doing NES requests. Ooh, exciting! I always love request streams like that. I know a couple streamers that do, like, either like sub donations or tips or something like that, and they do a specific request. I always thought that was neat. Because A, the like audience member gets to see a game that they want to see played, and B, you get to like go see some classics or go see like games that people used to love playing as a kid you might have never checked out before. At least in my case, I'm sure you've checked out most of the collection already. Never know, there might be some obscure one. But then you would have to own that obscure one, so I don't know if that'd be the case. But anyways, viewer requests are always neat. I gotta play. What I want to go back is actually go play some PlayStation games again, because I played a little bit of the collection when I was a kid, but I have not played enough. Just a small fractional amount. Right now what I'm doing is I'm going through my files and actually making sure everything looks nice, because not everything looks fantastic. Right now I'm having like hard-coded, not nice variables, hard-coded magic numbers, if you will, and I'm making sure that all my implementations of classes have the big four in them. I need to grab some food. I'll be back after a bit. I might not be here. I think I'm ending soon. Oh my god, it's 11:30. I might be leaving in like 8 minutes. But have some good food, and thank you so much for that host, Popo. I hope you take care. I'll catch you in your next one for sure. I didn't realize it was so late. Time flies when you're coding. We might do this again actually tomorrow. We probably will do this tomorrow because I'm going to be coding regardless. It depends on how much progress I actually get done. Possibly. Good to see you, Sparky. It's always good to see you, Popo, I swear. Give you a little... Do I have the #1 crush from already? I do! The #1 crush. Go check out Popo and Duck. I can't give a shout out, sadly, because my bot's down, but I'll give you a vocal shout out. Go check out Popo and Duck. He is a awesome streamer. Super fun to be around. I swear to God, you're the best streams. Every time in there, I'm dying with laughter. Alright, let's see. We need to find... Okay. Sanity check. Do I have Big Four in every single method? I don't. I'm missing it in the mushroom. That's, I think, the last place I was missing it. I knew, like, there's one in the back of my head I'm missing, and it's the mushroom. So, specifically, we delete the mushroom, default constructor, which is fine. We need to do something with the assignment, copy operator, and the deconstructor. So, mushroom... I always have to copy this over because I can't remember what it is. Because I'm bad at doing that. This is depressing music. What's going on? Let's do some Stardew Valley. Sorry, Animal Crossing, you're beautiful. Don't ever change. Let's go to... Oh, I love the winter music, but it's so short. Let's do the fall music. There we go. This is what reminds me of fall. All the, I mean, Stardew Valley does a fantastic job on it, but also Harvest Moon. By the way, if you like Stardew Valley, go check out Harvest Moon. Gotta go check that out. For both Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley, I love their seasonal music. It gets me in a mood. And it is fall time right now, so we were playing fall music. Hope it gets you in the mood too. Did we also forget it on the bullet? We did. Okay, so come back to bullet mental notes. Need Big Four. Yeah. That is not where we can copy. We can copy it from here because we're lazy. So, comment that out so it doesn't actually miss anything. Oh. Okay. So, default constructor, we need the copy constructor. Mushroom reference to the other mushroom. We're going to specifically delete that because we don't need that. the mushroom reference operator equals. I always add const here. We should probably be doing const for all these, shouldn't we? Does it matter when we delete the method? It doesn't. I don't believe. In fact, is that constness, I don't think changes the argument list in the sense of like it's an overloaded. Is that right? I have to do some experiments with that because I don't know. Is, say, the copy constructor here the same without the const as opposed to with? Of course, the constness does have an effect on how you say pass a parameter and what happens to that parameter. It's now const, of course. But is deleting this copy constructor this way the same as just deleting the normal one? I guess since we're deleting it, there's no point in even putting const there because we're telling the compiler, hey, we're not using this. And actually, for that reason specifically, there's no reason to have that in here either. Because we're not using the method anyway, so there's no reason to have const on there. There's no optimization compiler performance boost from it, necessarily. So from here as well, operator, mushroom, pointer? Is that right? No, reference. Mushroom reference to other mushroom. And we don't plan on copying one mushroom to another mushroom for now. Would that ever be something we need to do? No, because I mean, it's either they're alive or they're dead. We don't really need to copy one from the other unless we're like transferring grids or moving them around, and that'd be an implementation. But for now, we don't have to worry about it. On the default deconstructor for the mushroom, I don't think we actually need, so I'm gonna try deleting that. That's not a good idea. Also, what did I do wrong here? What is this complaining about? Delete function overrides non-deleted function. Do we already have a deconstructor? No. Because I don't think we can delete this. I think we can have an implementation. We can. Okay. What did that say? Close delete. What does this complain about? Deleted function overrides non-deleted function. Game object. Oh, yes. Okay. Got it. Alright. It's a game object. So we will not delete it, but we're going to say we want the default. Try to delete everything where I can, otherwise I'm going to use the default. Cool. We also need this for the blaster, which we forgot about. Oh, bullet, I mean. I should say. Let's get rid of this stuff. Oh, actually, let's paste it over so we can use it too. Bullet.h, need big 4. Got big 4. So we're going to have a... Can we get rid of the default constructor for the bullet as well? Because we always supply a POS for that, and we want to supply a ship. So I'm going to say we can delete the default constructor. Let's make sure that doesn't error out. Of course, if this ran into a problem sometime later, it's fine. We can always come back and deal with it. But for now, I guess it's okay. Yeah. If anything breaks, we'll come back and fix it. Which is that's an awful way to go about it. But for now, we don't need it. And I don't plan somewhere down the line utilizing it. So that is my ideology for not having that. Also, how's my sound level? My sound level's fine. Okay. We're going to switch the order here. So the deconstructor is there. We're using the default for that. That is fine. What is this? This is the constructor. We need the assignment operator, so bullets, bullet, and other bullets. Other people, they'll put like other here as the like initializer name or object or just bullet. I like doing other object to remind myself, hey, we're copying this one from another object, so other bullet. That's my naming convention there if you're curious. Delete and bullets, the assignment operator is... What are we doing right? Bullet and operator equals bullets reference to other bullets is equal to delete as well. Cool. Get rid of this garbage. And the constructor, while it's not necessarily with a big 4, we'll just stick it right below that. I don't like these variable locations. Where separate these guys. This is a public variable. Fired. Switch that over. Fired should not be a public variable, so we're going to remove that. Now there should POS. Why is POS a public variable? I was trying to trick myself by moving these locations. Bool fired should be implemented within the constructor. Bullet is equal to, I'm sorry, fired is equal to true, false by default. This is technically the top one. Okay, that works out. We'll deal with POS in just a sec. I want to see what fails when now we've switched over to fired. The bullet specifically calls... Ooh, that's right, we also call this in the update loop. Once again, one of my reasoning is I just don't want the function overhead. I don't like this implementation of the controller, and again, we are going to remove this later when we separate the controller out of the ship specifically. Right now, every single iteration loop, we're checking for keyboard control, which is very slow. It's about as slow as collision. Actually, collision might be a little bit slower, but anyway. So we need an accessor to get the fired boolean out of the bullets. So we will call bool get fired states. That's all we need. Yeah, let's implement it. Can we make an... would it be... should we create an inline method? No, that's a bad idea. I'm wondering because it's just such a small function that it makes me think that we need one, but that's probably bad, bad ideology there. Okay, we're going to return fired. And then within, class uses this again, the blaster, we're going to say gets fired state. Wait. No, we're going to set fired state. Oh, I'm sorry. So we're not going to get, we're going to set. Set fired state. Set. And we're not going to return anything, actually. This is going to be void now. We can turn 1 to say it's successful or not, but we're not going to check for that. Wasting an if statement. So fired is equal to, and in this case we're passing a boolean into it, so bool state, fired is equal to state. Let's pass a boolean here, bool state, and let's pass a boolean here, true. Now there's another location, we probably set this to be false. Set. And that is probably when we... oh no, we actually check it again. So if the bullet is equal to fired, this is a get method. So actually we just need a get method after all. What is this complaining about? Incompatible. What did we do wrong here? Oh, that's right, the return type was wrong. This is a void. There we go. We need a get method, so bool get fired states, which does not take anything in this instance and just returns whether fired has been set or not. Put the destroy method down at the bottom because that's a convention for me. And bool bullets get fired states, no arguments, return fired. Now within the mushroom class we're going to get the fired states. If that's true, do the following. Can we run it? Probably not. Missing a semicolon somewhere. There's one. And this is a method, so it needs to be called like a method. Good to go. Good to go. No errors right away, which is a very good sign, at least for us, because we are prone to errors. Very prone to errors. At least we can do an okay job debugging. I actually love the debugger right here. I used to be the old... I mean, my first programming language was Python, so I'm used to the old print statement, check within the if loop, or the for loop, within an if statement, hey, I got here, or hello world, and stuff like that. Nowadays, not so much. Nowadays, we can actually use the debugging tools, create breakpoints, do do checking within those breakpoints. If certain things are set, it's fantastic. There's no more powerful tool, I imagine there are, but there's nothing more powerful, to me at least right now, than the debugger. Because God, I love the debugger. One thing that actually one of my classmates pointed out, which I have not noticed yet, is this very top mushroom that we're about to fire at. Apparently, there shouldn't be any mushrooms on the very top row. I'm going to confirm that after a couple playthroughs, but I guess we should avoid that. I know currently there shouldn't be any mushrooms spawning where the player is currently located, because it would be impossible for them to fire at, because it would be below them. The only way to get rid of that mushroom would be for the spider to collide with it. So we're avoiding putting mushrooms here, and in fact, I don't think the flea is able to put any to here down here either. But we'll worry about that later. So, all the get and set methods are fantastic now. We were worried about the bullets. We now have the big 4 for that, which is fantastic. We removed some of the public variables. We still have POS and the color ship. Color ship should not, yeah. I think that we did that because we were going to set it and call back to it a couple times. Let's make this a private variable. This is a pointer, so it's 4 bytes? Bits. 4 bytes. 4 byte. Yeah. 4 bytes, so this can fit with the floats. The boolean itself can go below all this because it's the smallest of the 4. I'm not worried about it anyway. It's right, or these two right now. We'll worry about reordering those later. Color ship. I imagine where this is going to fail is specifically when we are assigning... Oh, it didn't fail. I thought it would have failed. Alright, did we... Really? That's not right. Because when did we set the color ship? Color ship is equal to ship. Oh, we passed the ship, so it doesn't matter. Okay. In fact, we don't even need to get a set method for some of these. I forgot about that, because we can just pass these as arguments when we create them within the initializer. So in this instance, that didn't break anything, because we already had passed the ship within the argument list, so great. So the other thing we needed to switch out was the POS, and I know I'm running low on time, so this will probably be one of the last things we do. Public for blaster adjustment, no longer will this be public for the blaster adjustment. This is POS, which is a vector. I'm going to put that as the top one here. I don't know if this is the biggest data container, whatever you want to call it. Here, let's actually test that, because I'm curious. I don't know how big these vectors actually are. Let's do it within the update loop, because we know we're going to hit that. I don't actually need to... Oh, that's right, we have errors for it. Before I do that, let me quickly do the following. Let's put that back. We didn't touch it. And let's quickly see if we can run this. I just want to get the size of the vector. So this would be just within the watch variables. Not much. Wait a moment. Unable to debug. Well, oh, that's right, because we need to have a breakpoint. Not here though. Within one of the update loops, doesn't matter which. Oh, that's right, because we don't have a bullet yet. There we go. Within our watch window, this is usually much more cleaned up. I had to reset the windows for the new computer. We're gonna just check size of SF vector 2F. Is that enough? 8. Oh, okay, great. Whereas like size of, I don't know, mushroom pointer, this should be 4, I believe. Yes. So since it is storing 2 floats, it is of size 8. That makes it super easy. It must be like a struct or something basic like that. This should be usually at the top of like our floats and integers, and size of integers, of course. 4 in this instance, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of storage, let's put the vector at the top. That was within the bullet class? Yeah, bullet. Oh, color ship, that's gonna be of size 4, so this is still larger than color ship. Good. Does this break anything? We do pass the POS to the method. But this is specifically, this is not the ship POS, this is the bullet POS. So no, this one runs into trouble. It runs into trouble here. This is once again every update loop. Oh, this is collision now. Every update loop, I know we change the position of the bullet via the blaster, which I guess we'll have to do with a setter now. So this one is a setter. No, it's a getter. I'm sorry. Well, actually, no. So, bullet POS, we're going to subtract from it impulse. I think instead we need a subtract method? Would that be better? We could do a set method. And in which case we can do a get and then a set. So, get the value of the POS, subtract from that value impulse, which is just how far we're going on the screen. It's a multiplier. And then set after that. I think it'd be a bad idea just to have a subtractor. We could create a, what's that called? Overload one of the operators, so no, that's a bad idea. Why would we do that? I want something that won't bite me in the end. I feel like that would bite me if I tried to overload that. Bullet POS minus equals pulse. Yeah, let's just do a get and a set, which, oh boy, function overhead. So, we already have a get method. Oh, this is for the bullet though, I'm sorry. Bullets. We have a set POS, which we've used before. We just need a void get POS. Good, okay. This is not a void though. We're going to return a vector to f, which is of type SF, or within the namespace SF, I think. Get POS. Good. Okay, let's implement that. Hopefully next to the set method, wherever that may be. This is within the bullets class, and just getting POS is returning POS. Good. So now within the blaster, we need to say, call that out, bullets get POS minus impulse. And we're going to put this all within the set POS method. So bullets set POS. It's within that. I think that should do it. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Oh, this is great. So actually that removes this line. I think that should do it. I think so. That should narrow out. It did! Oh wait, no. I was like, it broke! We had an exception. No, we just had a breakpoint. No, that actually worked great. Okay, cool. So what do we actually do? What we did was we had a get method, because originally we did not have a way to get the POS. We had a way to set it, and set that variable. But it was still public, so that wasn't necessary. Now we have a get method, so we can actually make that variable private, which is good. We want private variables. So, we're gonna go on that front. And I think that's one of the last public variables that we have to deal with that I can think of. So cool. We made some progress today. I'm gonna upload this real quick to our management system, and I'm gonna say added big 4 to missing methods. God, it's late. I forgot how late it was. Also, removed public variables. That's good enough. I usually do much more descriptive comments, but I can't think on the spot. Okay. I think that's it. That's all the time I got for today. I need to go to bed because I gotta be up at 6. So I got 6 hours and 20 minutes of sleep. I'm gonna go get some noodles. I'm gonna make some noodles and watch Reno 911. One episode of it and then pass out. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Well, everyone, thank you for those of whom we were able to stop by and chat. Thank you, Popo, for the fantastic raid of 12 people. Very kind of you, Popo, if you're still around or if you see this letter. And thank you to Napa and Noella for hanging out. And for anyone that will check out this one a little bit later, I apologize I haven't been streaming that often. Once again, it's just been the time. Currently tonight I would try to stream until 2 a.m. if I could, but just time. Today's Thursday, so tomorrow will be actually a later stream if we're doing this. I need to be able to do this though, because I'm very far behind otherwise, so we'll see. I would like to be able to review material though and listen to material, and I can't do that on stream, so it's gonna depend. Look, I matched the background. Anyway, let me transition scenes here. I'm gonna keep the same music, and let's go find someone to host. It looks like Mr. Jub is online, so we'll go give him a host. Go say hello to Mr. Jub. It's been a while since I've seen him. He's usually not streaming when I'm online, so this is actually perfect timing. I'll go say a quick hello and then tell him that I have to actually pop out, sadly. We'll throw him a raid here. And yeah, thank you everyone that was able to stop by once again. I do appreciate all of you. I went through out my Discord command, but I currently don't have my bot ready for it. So if you're curious about the community Discord I'm a part of, there's a link down in the description. If you want to go check me out on YouTube, I don't have a link for that either. Go Google tech support YouTube and you'll find me. I VOD dump there, so if you missed out on some of our other playthroughs of Morrowind and Bioshock and all those, go check it out there. Go check out the team. They're all fantastic people. Savitonic, Saloni Baloney, Minister Falcor, and Bullshit Plays. Go check them all out. They're all awesome people. I will try to stream more often. I apologize I haven't been able to. I will try to make time for it. I'd like to stream. I love streaming. I really do. It gives me a chance to talk, which I don't do often enough nowadays. And I've noticed some of my, like, can I call it social skill? I guess. Some of my social skill has deteriorated. So I'm hoping to at least build that back up again. Anyway, I hope you all have fantastic nights, a wonderful Friday morning, and hopefully I'll see you Friday nights. If I don't, catch me around in the Discord. I chat there often. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.